Santiago was closed. It then snowed for the next 2 days. Plans were changed. Our group decided to stay the week at the one hotel resort of Portillo. Finally, on the 3rd day, it quit snowing. The 4th day, the main slope was groomed, and on the 5th day, with the highway still closed, the 10 of us practically had the mountain to ourselves in perfect sunny weather. What paradise. The following fall, there was a second fam trip to scout the 2 ski areas we had missed in 2000. While skiing on September 11 at Las Leñas in southern Argentina, we came in from skiing to discover the Twin Towers had come down. For the next few hours, we sat in the lounge, glued to the TV. No need to say more. South of Santiago, a short distance, was Valle Nevada, up a narrow road which was up one way in the morning and down the other way in the afternoon. One day after the lifts had closed, those of us on the fam trip were offered a helicopter ride to the top of one of the runs for a pristine afternoon ski down. It was a very small helicopter, only taking 2 passengers at a time, with B.Mary and myself being the last to get ferried up. Not having ridden a helicopter before, especially one with a rotor so close to the ground, B.Mary exited and dropped to her knees. I was right behind, following suit. We then both crawled on our hands and knees across the deep snow as our buddies were laughing hysterically. Talk about being chagrined. When others would look at her written name and would then call her Mary, I would say, it's B.Mary, like in be happy, be gay, be merry. She was indeed an always happy, gay, and merry person. Such a trooper, such a fighter. I shall miss you, B.Mary.
Thanks, Nancy. Given the time, I think we'll have just a couple more talks. I know that B.Mary's sister Eileen wants to speak. And I don't know if her brother Ed wants to say a word or two, and I know Sister Bear wants to say a word or two. So we'll just have a couple of more quick talks. Then we have the rest of the afternoon and evening to chat around and tell stories to each other. So Eileen.
Hi. For me, the passing of my sister B.Mary compels me to pause and reflect on her legacy. The first thing that comes to mind is her wonderful children and grandchildren. If you get to the last page and are missed in love, you have certainly accomplished something. Jim, Mark, and Laura deserve recognition for the support and respect given their parents these last years. When I talk about B.Mary, I often say, if you have a name like B.Mary, you have to live up to your name. She certainly did. I agree with Nancy. But I learned from B.Mary that when faced with a difficult decision or something you don't want to do, a good reply is, let me think about that. One of the unique things about B.Mary was her ability to turn a misadventure into a funny story. I do have a lot of B.Mary stories since I have known her all my life. How many of you have heard about the time the bear bit B.Mary in Glacier National Park? In closing, I would like to read to you a poem about her written by her mother, and I will apologize a little because there's scripture at the end of it, but bear with me. I had a little girl I once took on a walk. She came to a log in the water we had to walk across. "Let go of my hand," she called to me, and so I let her go. Splash in the water, then she went, wet from head to toe. Now I'm often like my daughter when I break from my father's hand. And often like her, I suddenly find that I splash in the water I land. Life can be so simple, life can be so true, if we take your loving words to always abide in you. For when in union with you, we dwell as the vine and the branches of which you tell, then whatever we do is directly by you, and certainly turns out well. Abide in me, I hear you say, as branches abide in the vine. And if I keep this union, my life shall be divine. And that's from John.
Thank you. I won't take long. I just so pleased to see everyone and so happy to see Mark and Jim. The story I have about B.Mary is when they married. Bud and B.Mary allowed me to help. And they allowed me to carry the wedding cake. Sorry. Carry the wedding cake into the room up here on Vista Avenue at the site where the wedding was. I believe February 4th was a wet day. It was raining in Portland. Can you imagine that? Sure, I'll carry the cake. And in we go. The floor was linoleum. My feet went out. Like that. And the wedding lasted 60 years.
So sometimes Mom and B.Mary's stories got the facts mixed up a little bit. Wasn't it my mom who named her birthday Mary because they attended each other's birthday parties when they were little tiny girls? Okay. I mainly knew B.Mary from Metolius Adventures. And one of the adventures, how many of you have heard of the Ray Milland adventure in 1946?
Not enough there, not enough.
Not enough? Okay. They were both young, fun-loving teenagers with horses, and I won't tell the whole story, but they contrived to meet Ray Milland, who was filming a segment of Golden Earrings the year after he won the Academy Award for The Lost Weekend. And there we have pictures. B.Mary made sure we got pictures, because otherwise no one would have believed them. So my memories of B.Mary over the decades have been associated primarily with the Metolius. I might be there at our cabin on vacation, she might be there at hers, over many decades. Until 2013, when B.Mary had her first knee replacement and needed some Metolius angels to make it possible for her and Bud to spend the summer there at the cabin while their house was being retrofitted for aging in place, their Lake Oswego house. And it was during those days and weeks that I got to know B.Mary and Bud at a very deeper level and a profound level, day in and day out. Something that you can't quite get when you happen to be on the Metolius at the same time and go on a hike. So those were precious days and weeks over the next few years. And so it was a profound privilege for me and some of the other Metolius angels to be around and to be present during her last unexpected high adventure on the Metolius. And so much to say about that, but all I can say is it was a very graced and beautiful experience. Everyone did their little part But there was a huge orchestration in heaven where all heaven conspired to enable B.Mary to be in this place that she so loved, surrounded by the memories and I believe the spirits of people so close to her for so many decades, to welcome her into a heavenly kingdom that, as one of her very dear friends said, Fran Hogan, when I die and when I go to heaven, I think it will be very much like the Metolius.
I don't know, after that it's kind of hard, but B.Mary was my skiing buddy. We both, I was not a racer. I was a gatekeeper for my kids and my husband. Anyway, B.Mary and I both won a trip to the NASCAR Nationals in Sun Valley. And that was our first ski trip together. And that started a long, many years of going to races. We ended up going to Masters races for a long period of time. We went all over the West Coast and had a ball. And you know from the stories you listen to what kind of experiences we had. And I'll never forget those experiences. She taught me how to have fun racing, and a whole new life came into my experiences. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget B.Mary.
I will end with a story, but I think it's, as I listen to all of these stories, there's just not much more than I can add, because I think everybody who is here knows the essence of B.Mary and knows how well those stories all capture that essence. But what was amazing to me, most of you are close friends of B.Mary, but she also touched people who she barely met. So when I was in my 30s, I was living down in the Bay Area, and every spring I would have a birthday party at Alpine Meadows, and we'd bring our backpacks full of barbecues and tequila and whatever else we would bring, firecrackers up to the forest, and have a great party. And B.Mary loved to party, so she flew down just to go to one of these birthday parties one year, and we decided to keep the party. It was up on the side of the mountain, but we kept it back in the forest a ways. So it was a little hard to see. And a storm came that day, and she had to find her way fighting through the storm, traversing across a big open field in a complete whiteout with a friend of mine, Lauren Meltzer, whom a few of you know, and made their way into the forest in the wrong spot, down through the forest in the wet, heavy snow, and turned around, went back up the lift again, finally traversing the right spot, made it there. And my friend Lauren, whom for the last 20 years has just been blown away by that story, and by her experience. It's the only time she met B.Mary. And she sent me a note when B.Mary passed away. And it just reflected to me how the way that even just a short moment like that with B.Mary could impact people. It said, I used to always think, I hope I can be Mark's mom when I grow older. She's strong, feisty, embraces life, throws caution to the wind. I guess the 7 broken bones or something about that. Embraces her son and his friends. Being with her made me feel fun and courage all wrapped up into one. And I think that we all felt that when we were with B.Mary, but all of us, but also just people who barely knew her, barely met her, could feel that fun, that courage, that excitement, all bundled up into one. And I want to thank all of you for coming, for listening, for sharing your stories, for all of your friendship over the years, and encourage you now to eat, drink, and be merry for the rest of the afternoon. There's no rush, stay as long as you like. Thank you, Scott.
You got it, buddy. I'm going to back this up and then we'll pop her on
All
your,
right,
on
all
your
right.
machine.
Oh, you'll pop it on my machine?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to